week as you've planned. Behind me here is Moroni, the capital of Comoros. Comoros has somewhere on the three islands about 700,000 or 800,000 people. About 50,000 people down here. Comoros gained its independence from France 39 years ago today. Today is Comoran Independence Day. There are 4 islands in the Comoros chain, but one island, Mayotte, voted in the referendum to stay part of France. So along with Reunion, you have here in the South Indian Ocean a couple of geographic anachronisms. You've got 2 islands that are part of the European Union, and this country, Comoros, part of the Arab League, all next to each other. George Bush would not approve. Gran Comoro is just one great big volcano, and it's this one, 2,360 metres to the top of Mount Cathala. It'd take a day or so to walk up, so I ain't doing it. So I've settled for walking up this parasitic volcano, a secondary crater that erupted many years ago, a couple of 100 metres up, and then down into the crater itself, where we should find some rare species of vegetation. This caldera rises up directly from the Indian Ocean. A couple of 100 metres down there is the Indian Ocean, next stop Mozambique. So let's descend down into the caldera and have a look what we can see inside a rare piece of jungle. In calderas you sometimes get little microclimates and different vegetation and goats. You know, Gran Comoro, the island on which Moroni, the capital of the Comoros, sits, in many ways is like the inside of one giant Weber barbecue with all these volcanic rocks, because, to be honest, Gran Comoro is one giant volcano. I mean, this really is an Arabic town in the southern Indian Ocean. It was founded by a mix of Arabic traders, Indian traders, African traders, hence the huge melange here. But it's really strongly Islamic, and the Islamic influence permeates all the way through the society here, particularly here for Ramadan. This area was first settled, the archaeologists estimate, somewhere between 100 AD and 600 AD, making it a pretty new settlement. And it was settled by those Arabic traders, so you have a juxtaposition here where this series of islands, the Comoros, is heavily Islamic, heavily in the Arabic culture, and in fact Comoros is the only member of the Arab League fully in the southern hemisphere. If it looks quiet behind me as I wander through this Medina, it's because it is, and there's a couple of reasons for that. One of the reasons is that it's the holy month of Ramadan, so a whole lot of things are shut, like the cafes and all of that sort of thing, until after the breaking of the fast. But that can't explain it all. There's a lot of other signs of decay around the place, and part of the reason is, since independence in the mid-1970s, Comoros has had no fewer than 20 military coups or attempted coups. Naturally, this has knocked the economy for more than 6. I think it's knocked it for 6 in 6 balls. There's not much you can do in the middle of the Indian Ocean when really a coup happens every 14 months on average. The last one was just a year and a half ago, and it has me thinking. One thing I don't understand here in Comoros is there's a whole bunch of these half-built buildings, some with vegetation still in them. And I'm not sure whether these were built and then abandoned, or half-built and then abandoned, or who the hell abandoned them. Is it a sign of economic decay, or did these belong to people who died in one of the 20 coups since 1975? No idea. The further one gets away from Moroni, the capital of Comoros, the poorer the place becomes. Most of the construction is done with volcanic black stone, which doesn't add to the colour of the place, but it's no surprise given that the whole island is a volcano. Interestingly, you don't bump into any other white people here. There's almost no tourism in Comoros. The Lonely Planet, in fact, doesn't even have an up-to-date guide. It has a 2-page PDF that you can download for free, and it points out on that PDF that of the 3,000 tourists that come each year, most of them are just on a global quest to visit every country in the world. Remind you of anybody? As well as being a country where French cars come to die, Comoros seems to me to be a country that shipping containers come to die. Throughout this country, a lot of them have been turned into houses, and in this case, shops. I'm now standing on the spine of Gran Comore. Basically, Gran Comore, the island, goes from one volcano down across to another at the end, and if you look in the distance, the whole landscape is just pockmarked with caldera after caldera after caldera, created in various eruptions. Pretty cool, huh?